Hello, this is Jamie Menagerie. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this darling little deer using the Menagerie mix-up and Menagerie dies from Stampin' Up. Okay, these are the dies that I used. And the only stamps that I used the antlers. I used this nose, but I didn't use the crooked mouth. You could if you wanted. It does add a cute little character to it. And then I used these, I think they're supposed to be eyes, but I just used one of those to make the mouth. And that's all the stamps I used. It's mostly dies. You just need scraps. I have a piece of Very Vanilla. I've already cut them out, but you can see the size of the scrap. You don't need much at all. A scrap of the cinnamon cider, and this is the soft suede. Okay. Inks, I have Memento, Poppy Parade, and then I have a couple of the pink, Petal Pink and Flirty Flamingo blends, just so that I could add a little blush inside his ears and inside his, for his cheeks. Okay, so let's get started. So out of the Very Vanilla, you're going to cut this die here once, this die here, which is the inner inside of the ears, once, and then one of these. Okay, so I've got those. Out of the soft suede, you need two of these. Three of the ears. One of this shape. And then this little one here. And then out of the cinnamon cider, you need one of the antlers. Okay, so let's move those aside. And you're going to need dimensionals, both sizes, because to do the nose, I used the little one. A big one might have fit, but... Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is let's stamp what we need to stamp. So I'm going to bring in my Memento. I'm going to ink this up. The antlers. And I'm going to hover over and stamp these antlers. Now you could stamp them first and then die cut them out. That works too. Actually might work better, but this is how I did it, so I'm showing you. Okay. And then on this piece, oh, there was one other stamp I didn't mount. These two little eyes. Actually gonna set it down and pick it up. There we go. And this is the headpiece. It's going to be with the fat part up and the skinny part down. And because a deer's nose is narrower at the bottom. And about a 1/4 inch from the top, centered side to side, I'm going to stamp those eyes. That's a little bit lower than I wanted them, but that's alright, that'll work anyway. Then I'm going to take a white gel pen. I'm just going to put a little dot and a little elongate it a little bit to make a little bit of a highlight in those eyes. And I'm going to take the Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to start with a light. I can't remember which color I used. And I'm going to do a circle for his cheek. And it just looks dark, like it brown on here, but when it dries, you see just a blush of pink. Then I'm going to take this nose piece and I'm going to take this stamp, my Poppy Parade ink. I'm done with the black, so let's put a cover on it so we don't have accidents. Open the Poppy Parade up. Okay, and I don't want the mouth, I just want the nose. So I'm just going to come in on the corner and I'm going to try and ink just the nose. Okay. If you got any on the mouth, just wipe it off. And I'm going to stamp that at the top portion of this little triangle. Get my head in there, sorry. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to come in with these little eyes. I do need the memento still. I think I stamped it higher on that one. That's alright, I just need one of these eyes. I'm going to ink it up with the memento to do the mouth. Down here at the bottom of this, just below this nose. I don't like that. Let's turn it over and see if we can do it again. Let's stamp the mouth first so we can see where the very at the bottom. Now let's do the nose again. I'm off camera, aren't I? So I'm going to go off the top of it just a little bit, I think. Oh, that's a little bit better. Originally I just stamped it on there, but then I added this afterwards and I kind of liked it better. Okay, now I came in with that gel pen and I highlighted that. I got it on the wrong side, I do. Yeah, I guess it doesn't make much difference. Okay, I highlighted where the highlight is with the gel pen. Then I came in with my Wink of Stella and I colored in his nose. Tried to avoid the white gel pen so I don't smear it. And I colored in the antlers with the white gel, or with the Wink of Stella, just to give him a little bit of something special. He's got a red nose, you know he's Rudolph, so he's got to be magical. He's got to have some glitter on him. Some magic. Alright, now we can assemble him. We're going to take a small Stampin' Dimensional, put it on the back of his nose, put that in place, and I brought in tweezers because my hands are clumsy and it's just easier to place it. Put it down a little bit more. There we go. Okay, let's close up this red ink before it gets everywhere. Alright, now I'm going to bring in the Tombow glue. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of this antler. Center that on the top of his head here. Now let's do the ears. I forgot to do the ears. I need 2 of these. And these 2 little things. Now these I'm going to color with the dark petal pink. I'll try to hold it so I can show you. And I just did a little bit inside the ear, one side a little bit darker than the other. I'll do the opposite on this one. And then those are going to get glued inside of the brown pieces with a soft suede. And that's where the tweezers come in handy. My hands feel clumsy, that way I get it where I want it and still see. Place it down. Okay, a little dab of glue on this little button at the bottom here. And those are going to go up here on this top corner. Ink all over me. You could have stamped those. There are on the side of the ears you could have stamped, but I chose not to. Okay, now this brown one that's left over, we're going to bring in our snips. We're going to trim it just a tiny little bit. You'll notice when you die cut it, the die leaves a little bit of an impression. So you're going to go right about where that impression is, and we're going to trim off a little bit of this. The deer's tail is brown when it's most of the time, but the underside is white. So, or at least here, where I'm from in New York. So I want to make the tail. So I'm going to take that vanilla piece, the piece we just trimmed, and I'm going to place the brown piece on top. So when the deer's tail is up, you're going to see a little bit of that white from the front, and all you're going to see from the back is the white. Okay, take one of these, this piece, we're going to glue that onto the front of this. That's his belly. Their undersides are white. And then I'm going to mount the head. Oh, I'm sticking to my paper. Put a little bit of glue here. Get that head on. Whoops, stuck to me. Okay. Now we're going to flip it over. We want to put dimensionals only on this side of the body. And I'm going to use the regular dimensionals. One down here on his foot. You could use the small ones. They're pretty. Oops, I don't want it to be there. There we go. Move this one up just a little bit. Alright, take those backs off. Now I'm going to stagger this body here so that the back feet are going to be above the front feet just a little bit, like maybe 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to go ahead and set it down. Okay, put a little bit of glue on that little button there at the bottom of this tail. My glue. There we go. And I'm going to put the tail, instead of center like it should be, a little bit to the side so you can see it from the front. But then you can see it from the back as well. I'm going to have to erase some of that glue, but there we go. There's our little deer. I kind of like his eyes down lower. This one looked funny to me, but that's cute. There we go. Well, thank you for joining me at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.